right, my beautiful Aquarians, let me ask you a question. How are you supposed to help humanity if you haven't experienced humanity fully in the physical? Now, you've experienced them in the energetic world or in the universe, but I'm talking physically, understanding the pain, understanding breaking down, understanding self sabotage, understanding joy, understanding bliss, understanding all parts of it. Now, you know, I've said to you before, Aquarius, you're from the ancient future, right? And if you understand that, then you're kind of where you need to be, right? So, welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including astrology, tarot, mediumship, all kinds of stuff to help you on your path. So, my gorgeous ones, I'm going to have to do this a little bit differently. I'm at my sister's house, so I don't have the luxury of being able to use the cameras in the way that I usually use them. So, we're going to kind of have to do things a little differently. But just be adaptable. It'll be okay. We'll figure it out. So, and I'm having to use a different camera. So, anyway, let's talk about what's going on with you in the month of October. Thank you so much for being the third most viewed video. I really appreciate all the love and support that you give me. You know, I love you very much. You know, you have a very special place in my heart. And I know this is a really trying time for you. Now, usually we'll banter back and forth. Well, we know how it works, right? I banter, you listen, you laugh, and then you kind of do what you want, right? But as I was getting into your energy, I'm feeling a lot of you. How do I say this? I'm feeling a lot of you are tender. Can I say that? Yeah, I feel a lot of you are tender. So the bantering probably won't go on, but I never know when I'm channeling. I'm feeling that you need a lot of love right now. I'm feeling that you need a lot of support right now. And I'm feeling that you would never say that to anybody. But I feel like finally, some things are breaking through. And I'll tell you why. We have October 1st, Pluto has gone direct. Pluto was retrograde, went retrograde April 21st. It has now gone direct. And Pluto is a big thing for you. I think it's one of the secrets as to you figuring out what's really going on your life path and why it's changed so drastically and what happened in the past few years, right? And so I am going to do a Pluto series where I'm going to do 3 different videos. I'm going to do a Venus series. And so for that reason, I won't get into too much detail, but I did think that Pluto is very prominent for you because it's in your 12th house. Now, Pluto takes a long time to go through a house. So this has to do with what's been going on over the years and where you're at right now. And I did hear somebody else describe Pluto as like, because we know Pluto's death and rebirth, right? We know Pluto is rules the 8th house, which is like Scorpio. It's that deep subconscious, that deep subconscious stuff that's going on. When we talk about deep subconscious stuff, and then it's in the 12th house, which is also deep subconscious stuff, you've been hit twice, and you've been hit twice for a while. So this is why you feel like you're going crazy, some of you. This is why one day you think you got it, and the next day you think you got it all figured out, and the next day you're like, I'm done with this world. Like, I'm done. I don't know what else to do. I'm done. And then the next day you're like, no, I got this. I know what I'm supposed to do. Or I think I know what I'm supposed to do. Or you're feeling better. You know, and this is why this up and down and up and down and up and down. It's because, like I said, I heard somebody else say this. This analogy they used, it's like the cocoon and the butterfly, right? The cocoon, when it goes into the cocoon, or when the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it has to break everything down when it's in the cocoon. Before it begins to rebuild, before it begins to come out as the butterfly, which is the, the actual, like, okay, I've made it. You have to break everything down. That means all the tissue, everything is it's broken down and then rebirthed. It's like adjusted and made something new and then formed into this butterfly. That's very, very painful. That's Pluto. And that's Pluto in your 12th house. It's in this place where you can't see it. It's in this place where you don't know what's really going on. It's in this place where you're not meant to see it. It's in this place so that you wouldn't be able to have all the answers that you normally have in maybe in other lifetimes, maybe in other dimensions. You weren't meant to be able to see it clearly at first because you have to go through humanness, right? You have to go through humanness, the pain, the breaking down, the tearing, the self-sabotage, the pulling everything away, the taking everything and then trying to figure out what you want, what you want to bring back, how you can do things on your own, how strong you really are in your human self. Does that make sense to you guys? So with Pluto being in this placement, you've come to this, you're right now in this place of all of it being, like all of it being broken down, and you've gotten to this place where you're like, I don't know what else to do, right? Like I said, some days you do know what to do, and then some days you're like, I'm kind of done. Like, I don't know what else to do. Like, does it have to be this hard, right? And it does. And it's because you have to understand that you can do it on your own, that you can make this world, like you wanted to before you came, a better place. But you have to be able to not just, if you're going to help lead humanity, you got to know what humanity is. Does that make sense? I don't want to go too far deep into Pluto, but I think for you guys it's really, really important because I want you to understand that I know what you're feeling. I understand that you're like, how much more has to break down? How much more has to get taken away? How much more? And when can I finally see? And when can I finally do, right? And when it's in your 12th house, it's not physical stuff. I won't say that it's not all physical stuff, but it's more your psyche. It's more getting out of your own way. It's more getting away from the self-sabotage. The 12th house, remember, has to do with your past lives too. Not just your future lives, but your past lives. When you're with your 12th house has to do with your subconscious, these habits that you formed, through lifetimes, and you're trying to figure out how to undo those habits or put in a new habit or stop self-sabotaging yourself, right? That didn't make any sense. Stop self-sabotaging. You're trying to understand to move out of your own way. You're trying to understand and remember that you are whole, and or you're trying to get back to that place where you are because you have this innate knowing that you are. You're trying to figure out how to, from your humanness, get there. That means doing the physical stuff. That means getting out of your own way. That means creating the world that you want. And also that means leaving your mark in the DNA of humanity. Does that make sense to you? Again, I don't want to go too far, but I just want you to know that this all is a part of what's going on with you. So you've made it this far. You're going to make it. You're at the forming. Well, some of you are like right in between that last destruction and that forming of the new to be able to become the butterfly and get out of the cocoon, right? But we're right in that mushy part. We're right in that total destruction. We're right in that part. And so the sooner you get out of your way, the sooner you get out of your head, the sooner you, and a lot of you have. A lot of you've done great. A lot of you are finally, you're like, Nothing more can be taken away. I better get up and do something about it, right? When you reach that point, know that you're on the scale up. You know that you're going up from there. Know that you're beginning to form from there. 2019, 2020 they're gonna be big years for you. But this right now is that last gushy in between part where we're kind of forming, but we got to let go of the other stuff. We're kind of forming, but we got to stop self-sabotaging. We're kind of forming, but we got to get out of our head, right? Um, when Pluto transits it, and not just that, you have Saturn in there. And so Saturn's like, you have these hopes and dreams that you came into this life that you want to have, that you want to make form, that you want to make physical. And we can do this. You just got to get it out of your head. You didn't come here to be in your head. You came here to do it physically. You came here to engage with humanity. You came, and the bigger picture is that you're going to understand humanity better so that you do leave your mark. And that doesn't mean that all of you have to be like in some big way. You could leave your mark in your community, in your job, in your career, in what you've created, in a family. You leave your DNA in your family, right? Your thought, your action, the way that you understand humanity is left in this DNA. That makes sense? Okay, I'll try to get off that subject, but I just want you to know that you're right there, and this is why some days you're like, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I got this. But other times you're like, I'm kind of done. I'm kind of done, right? So it's all about the rebirth. It's all about the becoming that butterfly, right? So, and Saturn is going to help you. Saturn is going to gift you with so many things. And so is Pluto. Because what we finally do when Pluto's taken everything away, it's about our control. Pluto takes it away so that we understand it's ours, that we're okay without it, that we're valuable, that we can do these things in human form. We don't have to be the all-knowing, all-seeing, and have all these tricks and whatever. We can do it through humanity. We can do it as humans. That's what you came here to show everybody, right? So, you're almost there. We're right there. You got 2019, 2020, where things are just going to start moving up. If you've let go of the self-sabotaging, if you've gotten out of your head, if you've begin to create your way. That makes sense? Okay, so that's happening now. And then the other big thing is that we've been in shadow. Venus is in shadow. So Venus being in your, hold on, let me move this. So Venus is in the house of your public eye, the house of your career and your purpose, right? Jupiter's in there too, expanding that house. And so, and Mars is in your house, in your first house. And so you've been really aggressive, and you needed to be aggressive for whatever it was that you needed to begin to do, to get out of your head, to take some action, to have no fear, to get out of your psyche and begin to do these things. Does that make sense? And so with Venus in shadow over these next couple of months, because it goes direct in November, but you won't finish it up until December, this is about your life purpose. This is about your career, your job, your public eye, or you in the public, right? And so there's going to be, because you have the 12th house activated too, there's going to be maybe some renegotiation of relationships in your purpose, in your life purpose, or in your work, or in your career. Maybe there's going to be like the way that you thought that you were going to bring in this money, or the way that you thought that you were going to do this particular business, or this particular side job, or this particular purpose that you have. It's going to be amended and revised and redone, and you'll be working on this until November, where it will finish up in December. And some of you may actually have somebody come in through your work. Somebody may, some of you may actually have a love come in through your work. It kind of depends on where your Mars is too. Through your work, through your life purpose, through yourself in the public eye. You may have someone come in because, or you may have more money come in, or you may be readjusting the way that you receive your money, or the way that you attain your money, or the way that you bring the money in, right? But you also have luck on your side because Venus is luck as well. And Jupiter is right at that 22nd degree. If you look, Jupiter's right at the 22nd degree. To me, a planet begins to give its gifts or give its stuff at the 23rd, 24th through the 30th degree, right? So the more degrees it's in there, the more it expels its gifts, right? Jupiter wants to expand this and give you gifts, right? And this is in your life purpose. This is in your career. So this is all changing for you. But that's why sometimes you're feeling like, I got this, and then other days you're like, I don't have this. I don't know what else to do, right? Then we have, that's going to be happening on the 6th. On the 5th, right before the 6th, we have all personal planets in, are direct. So all personal planets are direct. So this is going to feel like a fast day. And there could be some news coming in this direction of your work, of your life purpose, of yourself in the public eye. We'll have Mars, we have Saturn, we have Jupiter, we have Venus, we have Mercury, we have the Sun, and we have the Moon, all direct. And then we have Pluto added to that. So Pluto adds things. Pluto adds to all these planets, all these things that are moving forward, all these positions, or like position and work that you got. Maybe you got a new position, or maybe new money comes in. Pluto is going to be adding to this as you release. There's a lot of changes going on in your life. Some of you, because some of you were stubborn and didn't do what you know you should be doing, you kept thinking you were going to be able to do it mentally instead of actually doing it physically. That makes sense. Not for everybody, but some of you are like, no, I can manifest that and not have to work for it. But you can usually. It's just not meant for you to do that right now. It's meant for you to do it physically. It's meant for you to release, to shed that old karmic habit and do it in a new way. That makes sense? I hope I'm making sense. I know this is really deep, but I feel like for you guys, you kind of need some understanding about the direction that you're going in. And some of you are holding yourself back because you're so stubborn, thinking that it's only, I got to do it this way, because this is the way I've always done it, so I got to do it this way. But some of you are needing to adjust. So now, on the 6th is when Venus goes retrograde. So on the 6th, Venus goes retrograde. Again, we talked about Venus already going retrograde, so that will happen. And then it will go direct November 16th or 17th, depending on where you are in the world. It will finish up December 17th, okay? So then on the 8th, we have this new moon. So with the new moon, this is in your the area of either long distance travel, the law, or because I feel like some of you are going to be traveling. So there's this new beginning. So I would say, like, maybe in your life purpose, or maybe part of your purpose that you didn't realize is going to come about, is that you may encounter where you get this offer, or you get something that happens with the job or your work of some sort, your career, where all of a sudden you have to travel, long distance travel, which is good. Some of you want to travel, but it's like this has made a way for this to do this, right? So new moons are about new beginnings, but with it being in Libra, Libra is the diplomat. Libra wants everybody to have what they want. Libra wants everybody to be okay. But Libra wants balance. And so for you guys, this will be balanced. So if many of you have given up a lot, this is now the time for these new beginnings to come in. to bring you some, to balance it out. If you haven't been giving a lot, if you haven't been giving up a lot and you've taken a lot, this is the time in a new beginning for you to give more. It's not going to be like it's taken from you. It's like you're going to see a way to be able to give more, right? Getting out of your head and into some action. That makes sense? So that will be happening on the 8th. Then on the 11th, 10th, 11th, and then again on the 23rd, 24th, you're going to have 4 planets in your career, in your life purpose in this area, right? So you're going to have Jupiter, you're going to have Venus, you're going to have the moon, and you're going to have Mercury. Mercury is bringing news. The moon is this emotionally felt something. And I feel like whatever this is that you've been working on, if you will just adapt and adjust and take some action, I promise you it's going to go your way. It wants to go your way, but you got to get out of your own way. You got to stop self-sabotaging. So that's going to happen on the 10th, 11th, and then on the 23rd, 24th, through the 30th. It kind of depends on where you are in the world. Through the 30th, you're going to have the Sun, Venus, the Sun talking to Venus, and then Mercury talking to Jupiter. And so you guys have been really working hard trying to figure out what your career is, what your life purpose is, what it is that you're wanting to do. And again, now that Jupiter is going to be at the 26th degree and it's going to be talking to Mercury, you could be receiving some news about the next level of your career, the next level of your life purpose. But also, you're going to have to be readjusting over here with this Venus and the Sun. So you're going to get news on the 10th, 11th about these relationships in your life purpose or your work area. But when the Sun comes, you're going to see it clearly so that you can make those choices. Does that make sense? Okay. So then we're going to end out. So on the 24th is when we have this full moon. And we all know full moons they're not just about letting go of what no longer serves you, but if you look here, it's where the sun is shining opposite of the moon to be able to illuminate something here. So it's going to show you something that's going to help you feel more comfortable, that's going to help you. And for you guys, it's more about grounding something. It's more about making this thing happen. So, 2, 3. So it is for your safety, security, comfort, where you've come from, where you're going, how come I do the things that I do, what really makes me feel comfortable, what really brings me happiness. Not what I've seen society do or not what I see other people do, but what makes me feel comfortable, what makes me feel safe and secure. And so with this full moon, you may see something there that you hadn't seen before that comes to light that you're like, this is really what I want. And I don't feel like I have to work against myself. This is just what I want. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's with the full moon. Then we're going to end the month on the 29th or 30th. And remember, it's Halloween, and I love Halloween. So on the 29th or 30th, depending on where you live in the world, we have this grand trine. So this grand trine has to do with Jupiter, and Mercury's there, but Jupiter, and it's going to be trining Chiron, which is this old wound, right? So it's this grand trine, a divinely guided gift with this moon in Cancer, right? So the Chiron is in Pisces, the moon is in Cancer, and you have Jupiter, and then you have Mercury. Well, I'll show you here. So you have Mercury trining the North Node. You have Jupiter in this grand trine with the moon. So there's something that's coming towards you that's a divinely guided gift. Now, will it do it for you? No. It's here to help you. It's here to help you feel better. It's this old wound that you're finally able to, some of you, release and not get so fearful about it because you got all in your head about it, but you see that it's actually maybe not as bad as you thought it was. Maybe it was like so built up in your head that when it actually, with the steps that you've taken, you're like, oh, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Um, but Jupiter brings gifts. Jupiter brings, he's the guru, he's the teacher, he brings gifts. And so that grand trine will emotionally fulfill you, okay? Again, a lot of it is because you won't get out of your head. And that's not everybody, because I see a lot of you have gotten out of your head and begin to do the work and begin to do the action. And so in that case, this is a little extra help. There's miracles coming. There, if you haven't already seen some miracles come, there's miracles coming, because I know some of you have seen some miracles come. I can feel that. But you have some, like, I feel like you take a couple steps and then something comes in. This has been happening to you, where you take a couple steps and something comes in and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened to me, right? And so that could be going on. So let's get to the tarot. I'm only going to pull 3 cards. I will have the extended tarot on my website. But again, I'm on travel, so it's really hard for me to do this. So I was trying to figure out how to get all this done. And I'll have to show you the cards. All right. So I'd like to know, so I'm thinking what I'm going to pull is what's the most important thing, and then I'm just going to pull what's the most important thing that you need to understand this month, in the month of October. You have the Ace of Wands. Good for you. So the Ace of Wands is about new beginnings, very exciting beginnings, but with the Ace of Wands, you have to take an action to be able to receive the gift. You have to take an action to be able to receive the new start, right? So for some of you, the new start is a person coming into your life. For others of you, it's a new contract. For others of you, it's new money. I feel like this is more than one thing. I see a lot of passion in it, but I see a lot of excitement in it. And I see that your hands are open to it. I see that you're able to receive these things, okay? So I'm just going to pull 3 cards. Wow. Yeah. All right. So what I'm seeing here before I even lift this is you've got the Death card, you've got the 4 of Wands, and you've got the 6 of Wands, and and this is all underneath this Ace of Wands. And so I'm seeing the death and rebirth, which we just discussed. I feel like that's very prominent for you guys. I feel like that was something that needed to be said, to understand that you are loved and you are doing okay, and you're doing just fine. You're actually doing better than fine. And that you're not going crazy, and that the reason you're feeling these things is because a lot of it is coming from you standing in your way. Mentally, like being in your head, right? So I feel like with this Ace of Wands comes the death and rebirth. You kind of feel better, you're going to see better, you're going to have some things come to you. And even though sometimes we get an offer, we get a new beginning, sometimes we're like, I don't know if that's going to stay, I don't know if that's really going to manifest, I'm not really sure. I feel like with this Ace of Wands that you feel better, that you actually have the, yeah, because y'all can feel energy. So I feel like this release of, oh, that energy is not there anymore. I'm in this new energy of death and rebirth. If that makes sense? Where it's taking you is to this 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands, so here's the Death card. Here's the 4 of Wands. And then here is the 6 of Wands. This is all good news. And this is underneath, so if you look, it's underneath the Ace of Wands. So this new start is going to ground these things. Does that make sense? This new start is going to ground these things. So the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is all about you having built the foundation and put up the pillars or the four posts, and now building the wall around it, really making it something. So whatever this new start is, you're going to feel the death and rebirth. You're going to feel better. And then I feel like more money comes in, more people come in, things get better. And then you have the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands, and because I feel like your 10th house is lit up, the Six of Wands is that people are going to be looking at you. Maybe even a lover's looking at you. Maybe it's time for a lover to come in. Maybe this Ace of Wands is like you're finally feeling passionate again, or you're finally seeing someone attractive to you. So then, because you've already built your foundation, you already built your four post, and you're just now trying to build the wall with someone, right? So getting into a new relationship, it's going to lead you to you becoming more. I feel like you come out of your shell. That's the Six of Wands, where people are looking at you. You can't go wrong. Things are happening. Everybody wants to be around you. Everybody wants to work with you. Everybody wants you. Does that make sense? So that's what's coming in the month of October. Again, you're doing just fine. I love you dearly. And know that you're loved throughout the universe. They're very, very, very proud of you throughout the universe. So, yeah, you're very, very loved. I know this takes a minute. I think I'm like 30 seconds off. So, I think, yeah, I'm 30 seconds off. So I'm going to let you guys go. I love you, love you, love you. I love you dearly. Keep doing what you're doing. Just stay out of your head and keep doing your action. Okay? Love you, love you, love you. Bye.